Apex Tech Racing Supply is your go-to source for the finest sim racing hardware on the internet. Visit apextechracing.supply for all your professional grade sim racing gear. Race with the same equipment our pro drivers use to win. Pro SimRig aluminium race rigs and monitor stands, base performance simulator cockpits, VPG and precision sim engineering racing wheels. The best tools so you can win on the track. apextechracing.supply. Sim racing products for the discerning sim racer.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the 4 hours of Road Atlanta, the Pro SimRig 4 hours of Road Atlanta. Drivers are out on track at the moment, being given a driver's briefing, but we are back. Last race was at Spa and what a banger it was. Action across the field for 6 hours long, and this track, as we all know, is a tight, twisty one. It's going to be an interesting roller coaster for 4 hours long, and the drivers said themselves as well, because I have spoken to quite a lot of them. And well, as we said, it's am I a bit too loud then? Is this better then? I hope this is better. Okay, I hope it will now be good with the racing volume, but I hope this is good now. We are at Road Atlanta, like I said, a very difficult track. You can see the track map for you. The first sector, a really tight and twisty section. Then you come out onto the second sector, where it's way more tricky, and especially the last corner from the first sector is really interesting as well, where of course you can gain or lose the car, or gain or lose the car. You can gain time or you can lose time by losing the car. It's a really tricky one over the bumps, so it's gonna be an interesting one there. Also the run up to turn 3, the corner at the top of the hill, also gonna be a very interesting one to look at. A lot of overtakes gonna be done there by the LMP2s. A really tricky place though to overtake, so yeah, could be a tricky one there. Then we go into the second sector. We have the two 90-degree corners in the second sector and 2 longer straights, so a lot of subseaming going on there. And then we have a chicane in the last sector with a very tricky downhill section, because you go uphill to after the chicane and you go downhill once again. But if you go uphill and then you transition to the downhill, it's a really tricky transition, because the car gets light and you can easily lose it. Let's take a look at who is competing all in this series then today. We have, at the moment, the old spotter guide in here, because the new one wasn't provided for us. So there might be some cars that you do like that are not in there. So let's take a look then at who is all with us today. Starting with, of course, row 1. It will be the number 1 Tempest SimSport. A really interesting team that is. And they have proven themselves last season by becoming the champion. That's why they are, of course, racing with the number 1 this season. Alongside them on the spotter guide is ATRS SimSports 13, the Apex Tech Racing Supply SimSport team. Then we have the number 16 Dallara LMP2, the Planet Racing Team LMP2. Then we move on to the DLR Rotary Industry Orange guys. They are with us as well. Then we have the number 22 Dallara P2. That is the DLR Rotary Industry red car. And then we have the DLR Rotary Industry white. So 3 DLR Rotary cars are with us today. Once again, the number 23, 22 and the number 21. Then we move on to the number 24, the Octopus Racing Team LMP2 car. Alongside that on the spotter guide is Lithium Motorsports with the number 34. This spotter guide is also available for you if you're on the Discord server. So if you would like to print out a spotter guide maybe and look to stream with that spotter guide on your table, it is possible to do so. Then we have the number 36 Randale Racing LMP2. Alongside this is the TSR Racing Dallara P2 car, number 44. Then we have the number 46 046 Racing, also in the LMP2 field, and then the DCW. Fun fact, that stands for Dog, Cat and Wine Racing. Don't ask me why that is so. Ask Joost Bouwmeester in the chat. He will know for you why it is called Dog, Cat and Wine Racing. He will know that, so ask him. The number 84 there for you on the screen. Then we move on to row number 4, where we find the number 50, the 505 Endurance LMP2, the number 55, the Digital Spirit DS Racing, number 63, Gazax Team LMP2. They are not with us this evening. They'll be back next race. The 69, Bazinga Motorsports LMP2. Then to row number 5 we go. This is the last row of our LMP2s. And then we have had 20 LMP2s. The number 77, Loose Crew Racing. Then we have the number 78, Writer Engineering Esports. The number 93... Let me take a look. The number 93 NCR Esports and the number 99 Trackside Esports and Endurance. Then we move on to the GT field with the number 101, the champions of last season, MRP by Fields Academy. Alongside them is a very quick team as well in the Porsche, the Tempest Sim Sports 103. Then we have in the number 104 the Tempest Sim Sports 104 team. And alongside them is Mad SimSports 111. Then on row number 7 we find the Platinum Racing Team Orange car, the number 114. Then the number 115 Netrex Grand Prix GT3. And then we find the number 117, the Platinum Racing Team Blue car. They are in the Pro Class as well, so these are all Pro Class GT3s. We will go over that in a second. Then we find the number 119, the PGZ Motorsports. And a lot of quick drivers in that as well. A really quick car. They were quick out there last time at Spa. But of course they had some unfortunate incidents while they were racing on there. And they had a couple of drive-thrus, I think. And that really does punish you at Spa, because the track or the pit lane time there was around 1 minute and 10 seconds without a stop. So yeah, that does really, really hurt you there. Then we go on to, if I'm correct, the row number 8. And there we find the number 1, 2, 3. That is the SR Technic BMW. A lot of BMWs in here, as are the Porsches and Mercedeses. We also have Ferraris in here. If I'm correct, we do have a Lamborghini as well. Yes, we do. But we'll get onto that in a bit. The Octopus Racing Team in the number 1, 2, 4, also in the Pro Class. And then we have the Verve Racing Team Black in the number 149. Then the GTS Racing Team in the number 161. Then we move on to row number 9 already. There we have our first Mercedes, if I'm correct. Yes, there we find our first Mercedes in the form of the AVL Sim Racing Team. In the Mercedes AMG GT3 Evo in the 169. Then we have the 176 Austin Sim Races Cyan. And then the Astro Racing Cellular Mode, also in the Porsche. They were champions in the GT E class last season. Of course, that class not with us anymore in the number 180. Then we have the number 181, also the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna car, also in the Porsche. Then we move on to row number 10, where we find the number 187 Lamborghini. One of the only Lamborghinis in the field. If I'm correct, the only Lamborghini in the field in the hands of the Austrian Sim Racers Orange Team, the number 187. Then the number 215 Platinum Racing Team Black in the number 215, like I said, BMW. Then we have the Mercedes of No Limits Racing, the number 222. And then we have Writer Engineering in the 237 Mercedes. Then we move on to row number 11. where we find the number 269 Mercedes from Chicane Online Racing Red. And then this number 278 Mercedes from Manatee Racing Black. Also crowned, or also crowned champion. They were also with us last season in the GTE class. Then we find our first Ferrari off the field in the hands of the Reiter Racing Full Send team. And the number 294, then the number 299 MV Skin Lab DS Racing Mercedes. We move on to row number 12 then, where we find Platinum Racing Team Red in the number 315, also the first of the AM class cars. We will get on to how you identify them in a bit. Number 324 is also an AM class, the Octopus Racing Team Black. All cars that are not coming up are all AM cars in the number 324. Number 369 then, Mercedes Chicane Online Racing Orange. They are really quick as well. Showed that last time out. Then we have the Trackside Esports Endurance Orange. Unfortunate race last time out in the number 398 Mercedes Ferrari. Some Ferrari fans are going to be mad at me now. And they are really here to do better than last round. Then we move on to the second to last row, where we find the Trackside Esports Endurance Team Blue in the BMW. The Crips Racing, number 418 Mercedes, the number 444 RFRO Orange Porsche, and then the number 460 Mercedes from 046 GT3. Then we move on to the last row of this spotter guide. Some teams, like I said, might not be in there because this is the old spotter guide. The number 469 Mercedes from Bottom Split Heroes. The number 474 BMW from YS Motorsports Europe 1. The number 478 Manatee Racing Yellow car, also in the BMW. And then the last team on our spotter guide is the number 479 Mercedes, the Austrian Sim Racers Yellow. These are all your spotter guides, provided of course to you by our lovely editor from PEC. Well then, let's move on to the track and see what is happening out there. Here we have them. And we'll look on with the guys currently at the top of the standings, the Loose Screw Racing LMP2. At the moment, Ricardo J. Ferreira on top for that team. If we do this, this should work exactly the same as well. There we go. You can see the numbers as well from the cars. You can see, of course, the car that we're looking at on the bottom left of your screen, so you know which car we are going over and which car we are focusing on. Now, behind the number 1 at Tempest SimSports LMP2. Of course, this is still practice. Qualifying is coming up to you in just a bit. We will go over how you identify the pros and AMs in the GT3 now then. Here we go. On the right of your screen now is the Pro class. Of course, you can identify them with their orange color as well on the left-hand side. If I quickly take a look at this, here we go. There we have him. The number white, Platinum Racing Team Red. That shouldn't be there. We'll fix that in a second. But yeah, you can identify them with a white color, of course. And the orange color is the Pro class. And the yellow are, of course, the LMP2s. Well then, it's an interesting one to go over. 4 minutes or 2 minutes and a bit, excuse me, left of practice, and then we will go in to qualifying, which will be a really interesting sight to see at this short track. A lot of laps to be turned for these drivers, so a lot of opportunities to do better than you did the last lap. We do have indeed a couple of new teams or new drivers. And I will go over that and fix that for you in the last 2 minutes of practice. And I'll try and fix that as quickly as possible. Of course, not a big fix, but a little bit of a quick fix. Well, then here we go. Everything should be fixed now. And we are into qualifying. The first qualifying of the evening, of course, the GT cars are allowed out on track. And we are looking now on with the number 269, Jamie M. Pounders. He is in the Chicane Online Racing Red Mercedes. This is, of course, a Pro Class car. Damn drivers are, of course, allowed on track as well. Good luck today, Dan. Hope you can keep up. Yeah, of course, will be an issue. A very short track, so difficult to do so. But Jamie M. Pounders now finds himself in traffic. The BMW from Trackside Esports Blue, I think it is, in front of him. That will give him a nice tow, though, down this long straight, but it will lose him a little bit of time. Of course, in the corners, he will give him now a very nice tow. He will keep the inside. And I think, let me take a look at who is in that car. It's Nick Kerstens, I think, who's in that car. In the Platinum Race Team BMW, side by side in qualifying. Not what you want to do. That is going to hamper both of their qualifying laps. Chicane Online Racing Red car already through the first couple of corners. And here we go across the line. Let's see what the Chicane Online Racing Red car can do. And it jumps all the way up into P13. Well then. At the moment it's the Mad Sim Sports car, the number 111. Here you see it on the left of your screen. The BMW, who has pole position 2/10 over Euromasters Esports. That team new for this race. That team has come in for the Platinum Racing Team Black car since they have withdrawn from the championship. For numerous reasons, but yeah, they have withdrawn. So Euromasters Esports in now to the championship, and in their first race already looking quite promising and have improved their time. But it's still Mad Sim Sports 111 with a 1:16.5, really quick lap time out on track. So yeah. I haven't done anything with the mic, guys, so I don't know why now it's all of a sudden not correct, but hey. It's changed now, and the Mad Sim Sports 111 car goes into the grid. Fran Parada in the Euromasters Esports Porsche. Really nice livery, I have to say. Loving that kind of Martini-esque livery it is, almost. And yeah, it's a really good one to look at. If we go to the AM class though, Justin X. Lewis in the Mercedes for bottom split heroes at the moment on top. Looks like it is Matthias Saura from the Austrian Sim Racers yellow car in second, and Crips Racing in third in the Mercedes. So it's an all Mercedes party at the top of the AM class, which are going to be an interesting one to look at. Pablo J. Fonseca in the Tempest Sim Sports car, also looking really quick as well. Then we have Pablo Araujo in the PGZ Motorsports car, also one to look out for, definitely one who can take pole position. All over the place, over the grass, into the pit lane, not the lap he would have wanted, I think. Goes into the pit lane, and he's going to try and set a new lap in for that car. Vincent Ossems for the Platinum Racing Team Blue car. It's the first car on the screen, although the car behind that is blue. All Platinum Racing Team cars are almost running the same livery, so really difficult to keep them apart from each other, except their number really. So it's going to be a difficult one to keep an eye on. I hope you're all good wherever you may be in the world. Hope you're all having a good evening, good morning, good evening, and a good night to everyone who's watching from all around the world. Of course, these drivers are all across the world. Of course, you can race from home, and it's something amazing about endurance that we've always said of sim racing. You can race from basically where you live. You don't have to travel. So yeah, it's amazing. The Fran Parada Euromasters car, Porsche on an out lap at the moment. So he's going to be pushing in a second. Then we have Christian Petschek for the Netrex Grand Prix GT3 at the moment in 4th in that class. No one actually setting a green sector times apart from this man, Francesco Marini, in the or in the GTS racing team car. Across the line, what is he gonna do? He is going up to P17. Look how close it is, though, to the top of the Pro Class. 17 cars within a second. That is bonkers here at this track. Of course, a short track, so the gaps will be a little bit smaller than we're used to. But it's amazing to see 17 cars within a second. At the moment, the RFRO esports team jumped up into P1 for the pros or for the AMs and into P8 overall. So that car is going to start really high up compared to its competitors, if it can keep it like this. Of course, a lot of other cars are out there as well now improving their lap times. One of those cars is Ricardo Fernandez. Really quick at the moment as well. Oh, it's the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna car. Improves its lap time to a 1:16.65, just over half a tenth behind the Mad Sim Sports 111. Also going to be a really interesting one to take a look at, of course. AVL Sim Racing at the moment on the pit exit. The Reiter Racing Mercedes also coming out of pit lane on their out lap. And at the moment, it's looking like Mad Sim Sports is going to take the pole position. Of course, still quite a long time to go. 25 minutes will this be. And then we go on to the LMP qualifying. Well, Lloyd Remy, if I pronounce that correctly. I always have difficulties with French names and just the French language in general. So excuse me for probably pronouncing your name incorrectly. Doing my best to do it as correctly as possible, but that is not always the case, as we know. At the moment, it is also Justin X. Lewis in second. But where's PGZ Motorsports? They are not really looking too good at the moment. They are down in... Let me take a look. Where are they? They have set a lap time, it does look like that. PGZ Motorsports... Oh, never mind. I said they were not looking too good, but Pablo Araujo just jumped that car up into P1 with a 1:16.434. So there it is. Pablo Araujo in that car, of course, a well-known streamer in the iRacing community. Here with us this evening to do the 4 hours of Road Atlanta. And of course, we welcome his whole community to the stream. If you are here for him, let us know in the chat. Would love to see how many support that team has. PGZ Motorsports. Of course, last time I had a bit unlucky. He is back into the pit lane once again behind. I think that is the Euro Masters Porsche. Yes, it is. That car at the moment in P4. Mad Sim Sports, though, trying to launch an attack once again on the PGZ Motorsports team. Although it does look like now the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna in the slipstream of its teammates. There we go, moves out of the way. No green sectors at the moment for this team on this lap. So it doesn't seem like they're going to improve. And if they are going to improve, it's not going to be by much. So let's see what they can do across the line. Or do they switch now and give the other car a slipstream? Of course, that other car is at the moment. Where is that car down into? The Astro Racing. The Astro Racing Cellular Mode is down in P10 in the Pro Class. The number 180 now getting that slipstream from its sister team. There we have PGZ coming out of the pit lane as well. It's really busy out on track, of course. 35 GT cars at the moment qualifying. So that's absolutely amazing. But that does make for a really busy track. can you just imagine the LMP2s having to come through here? That's gonna be almost impossible for them to do. 12 minutes on the clock at the moment, so still quite a lot to go in their qualifying. They won't be too much on the edge yet. It's all going to come down, of course, to the last lap. A team that has just improved is the No Limits Mercedes. They've gone up to P12 overall and P11 in the Pro class. If we then take a look at the overall standings, this is how it's shaping up at the moment. Here we have bottom split heroes in between them. And then we have the No Limits Racing car behind that. So the RFRO orange car is going to start with, at the moment, 7 cars or 6 cars, if I can count correctly. Yes, I can. 6 cars in between it, to the second placed car in the GT3 AM class, which will already give it a second or 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 at the start of a lead over its second placed rival. And that is huge. That is huge at this track. 5 seconds is absolutely massive. Of course, we know that we do have a safety car now, so it can happen that we do have a safety car in the beginning of this race. Also the starting zone from the hill down to the finish line. So it's going to be a really, really interesting one to look at. At the moment, no new drivers with us at the moment. It looks like 3 cars haven't set a lap time yet, and the GTS Racing team busy underway with doing so in their BMW. Andrea Graziani, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Beautiful Italian name. And at the moment, he is up into what looks like no place at all at the moment. Hasn't set a lap time yet, but green sectors across the board last time round. The lap just didn't really count. The lap just didn't count. Let's see what he can do this time around. Maybe he can put up a good lap this time around. The GTS across the line, the number 25 in the AM class. Across the line, or in the Pro class, excuse me. This time he does set a lap time into 24th in the Pro class with a 119.13. Also on a new lap is the Vice Motorsports. Mercedes hasn't set a lap time either. Time is trickling away for these guys. But there could be a penalty if that I just heard of. For the GTS Racing team. Of course, if you look at their number on the side of their car, that isn't like it should be. That is just the number 25. There should be a Platinum Racing or a Platinum Endurance Championship born around that with a orange background. So that could be a penalty for the GTS Racing team coming up before they've even started this race. If you look at the Vice Motorsports Mercedes, there you see a white logo, Platinum Endurance Championship board around it, and a orange background which says that they are in the Pro class. Of course, we can identify them that way. At the moment, it is still Pablo Araujo in pole position for the PGZ Motorsports team. And that gap hasn't grown yet, but on an outlap at the moment, let's see what he can do in the number 119 PGZ Motorsports Porsche. The Euromoss Esports car. That car not on a quick lap, it does look like it. On an outlap at the moment, as you can see on the timing tower. But it's going to be an interesting one. RFRO in the AM class. Quite far up the order overall. Is dropping down now a bit, of course. You do see the difference in qualifying, especially between the Pro and the AM cars. Of course, there are some Pro drivers in the AM class car teams, but the AM driver has also, or also needs to run a certain amount of minutes, which will include, and of course, them dropping down the Pro class and the order overall. We haven't seen an AM class team win yet overall in the GT class, not in last season, not in this season, and that is a hit there on the start of the Euromasters Esports team from Prada with the GTS Mercedes, I would say. A car that is now into the pit lane. GTS Racing team No, that is their BMW. They have gone up though to P18 overall, so they have set a better lap time. Their GTS Mercedes car there behind that as well. Inside of an LMP2, it looks like really interesting physics there. Then we have behind that is Thomas Mora in the MV Skin Lab Racing Mercedes, also in the Pro class, but really far down the order. Then we have Pepe Kerstens for the Trackside Endurance Team Blue. Excuse me, I thought I said it was Nick Kerstens in that car a few moments ago at the start of this qualifying, but it is Pepe Kerstens in that car. Nick Kerstens, of course, way up the order in the AM class, 5th in the AM class in the Ferrari. Of course, the Ferrari out there at Spa was a little bit inconsistent. They had the spin at Blanchimont, and that ruined their race. From that point onwards, there was no race to be gained from their point of view, sadly. So they were really trundling along with a damaged car, but now starting its new lap is Nick Kerstens. Let's see what he can do. We'll go on board with him to enjoy a lap around this beautiful circuit in a GT car. Never mind, he's coming into the pit lane. Let's look then with our quickest man at the moment, Pablo Araujo, with a purple time last time round as well in previous lap time. Let's see with someone who's going to start their lap in a second. If I quickly take a look, this man, Thomas Piba, is going to start his lap for the Austin Sim Racers Orange. The only Lamborghini in the field with a nice slipstream from a Porsche ahead of him. Coming into turn 1 then. Really tricky turn. It does have a little bit of off camber. Does turn to on camber as well when you go further onto the corner. Then you have this uphill, really tricky. A blind entry into turn 3. Here you see the apex of turn 3. So a really blind corner. Then you turn downhill, the roller coaster they call it. A little bit of traffic in the name of... I think that is the... Let me quickly take a look. That was our champions from last season. Where are they? The MRP by Fields Academy Porsche. They're also way down the order in P22. So not doing too good as well. But they had a little bit of traffic there, of course. They were on a fast lap as well. Had a little bit of a misstep in their qualifying lap, and that was their qualifying lap over. Let's start over again. The NetRex BMW, is he gonna do his lap time then? Let's say he is gonna do it. Not gonna go into pit lane. No, he is not. Here we go then. A lap around this circuit. NetRex at the moment in P5 across the line. Do they improve? Not this time round. Then we go into turn 1. Like I said, tricky one. Off camera, you can touch the grass on the outside. If you touch the grass on the outside here, you are done. You're off into the barrier onto the left. Then we move on to uphill, turn 2 and turn 3, really late. Here you see the apex, turn in. Then we go down the roller coaster, a really tricky section, the S's. Downhill, the car gets really light, touch the curb on the right hand, touch the curb on the left hand. And then this corner, really bumpy, really tricky for the cars. Onto the curb, all over that curb, and then we are through the first sector. Then we have a little bit of a straight to cool off our heads. Then we go into the right hand, are braking about the 100-meter mark. Then we move on to the right, another 90-degree left-hander, a little bit tighter even than 90 degrees, I would say 100 to 110 degrees that you need to turn, and then we have a long straight coming up. You can check your socials here, check what you're doing, maybe talk to your teammates about fuel mileage and everything, or you have just a little moment to rest your brain after the roller coaster we've just gone through. Then we drop downhill, braking around about the 100-meter mark once again, then use all the road on the right, then all the road on the left. Turn right here, and then we go uphill. Here the car becomes really light. This transition from uphill to downhill. And now you have the last corner, really tricky to do full throttle as well. And the pit lane is also a really tricky one to go through as well. Well, then that was a lap around this beautiful circuit. It's a tricky one for the drivers to manage, as we said. But the qualifying for them is coming to an end at the moment. And it's PGZ Motorsports at the moment with pole position Pablo Araujo. Let's see what he can do. At the moment it looks like it's going to be pole position for that team. 2.5 tenths up on P2. Really quick with a 1:16.333. Here we go. A new lap for Pablo Araujo. Touches the grass on the right hand side. Does cool the tires a little bit. Of course, that is not what he meant for. A little bit of a misjudgment, but he keeps the car going in a straight line. And at the moment, Not green in Sector 1. So not an improvement in Sector 1. Difficult to improve a lap of 1:16.333, of course. But we know Pablo Araujo, really quick driver all over the curb. Not an off track. You can actually go that far over the curb. But it does look like he has stopped this quick lap. No, it does not. He is absolutely on it still in the Porsche. Not a quicker second sector, not a quicker third sector, I think, either. We're going to see that in a second, but not his mini sectors are not looking too good at the moment. So I don't think it's going to be an improvement for Pablo Araujo. Might come into the pit lane once again if he's not improving. And might start a new lap at the end of it. But it's going to be an interesting one. At the moment, Pablo Araujo not improving, it looks like. And yes, he is going to come into the pit lane. Take some new fuel onto the car. And seeing where he can come out. Maybe some new tires as well. That's maybe the strat for Pablo Araujo. Then he can do one more out lap and one quick lap. Because he can finish his lap. And then we will move on to, of course, the LMP2 qualifying. Christian Perez at the moment in P3 for the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna Porsche. The number 181. Its teammates then behind there are the Astro Racing Sailor Motor number 180. They have been towing each other along for basically this whole qualifying. Can maybe the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna car do something? Oh, they just improved to P2. I just seen that. Christian Perez up into P2 in the Pro class. But still almost 2/10 behind Pablo Araujo in the PGZ Motorsports car. He has set a really quick lap time for that car. Oh man, it's unbelievable how quick these guys are. Of course, there's a reason I'm in the commentary booth. Because I can't get anywhere near what these drivers are doing. I, of course, love endurance racing. That's also why I'm here on my own for most of this race, of course. That's why I'm here for the 4 hours. With Christian Perez with a really quick lap time at the moment up into P2. The No Limits Racing in P12 at the moment improving as well. Although behind him, though, it is the the Reiter Engineering or the Reiter Racing Mercedes, which is actually improving quite a lot. It's going to drop downhill now. And it's going to drop downhill, like I said, braking at the 100-meter mark around there. And it's going to complete its lap, and it's going to have to pull into the pit lane at the end of next lap. Of course, across the lap, here we go. It's going to be an improvement this last lap. Sector 1 was better across the line. Not an improvement for the Reiter Racing team. It was an improvement in Sector 1, but it wasn't enough to improve their lap time overall. They stay in P4. Pablo Araujo on a quick lap, though. He has timed this to perfection. And this is his last lap that he can do. Pablo Araujo not improving in Sector 1. Not improving in Sector 2 either. But this man is as good as set for pole position in the Pro class. Pole position in the AM class. Remy for the RFRO orange car, not improving. Then his sectors across the line. That was his last lap time. Pablo Araujo for the PGZ Motorsports car across the line. He will come in a second. And then his qualifying will be over as well. And then we will move on to a little bit of an intermission of 5 minutes. And then to the LMP2 qualifying, which is going to be a really interesting qualifying. At the moment, no issues to be to see out on track, and with of course the timing software. Pablo Araujo across the line. Is it an improvement of lap time? No, it is not. His lap time 1:18.49. Not too quick at all. And it does seem like he's now going to go for a last flyer, but not improving at all last lap. Maybe tires a bit gone, maybe track a bit warmer than expected. The track temp at the moment, though, if we take a look at that, is 29 degrees, so actually not too bad for drivers. With 29 degrees, Pablo Araujo, they're using the slipstream from the Trackside Esports orange car. That car at the moment in P4, P5 in the AM class. A lot of times have come in the early stages. Harold Bloemeyer though, with a purple second sector for the AVL Sim Racing Mercedes. Can this car then from 16th maybe jump up into pole position? Third sector, not an improvement, but a purple sector in the second sector. Across the line, he's going to come then. Let's see what it's going to be for Harold Bloemeyer, the Austrian driver in the AVL Sim Racing Mercedes across the line. Not an improvement for him, but with a purple second sector, it was possible. Also a green second and a purple third for Christian Perez in the dying stages of qualifying. Is he going to nick away the pole position from PGZ Motorsports on the last lap of qualifying? Across the line for Christian Perez. The answer is he will not nick away that pole position from PGZ Motorsports. Green in the second, purple in the third. But his lap time just 0.04 of a second off his quickest lap time. Oh, it got close in the end, but all drivers now done with their lap times. And I don't think Christian Perez is going to improve. Well then. Daniel Whitnell at the moment in P31 overall, but in P9 in the AM class. Really well done for him, for the DSA Sylvan Motorsports. The only cars that haven't set a lap time yet is Thomas Fischer, Jorge Sanchez Rodriguez and Kevin Poon for the Raita Racing Full Send Ferrari. Well then, 34 cars have set their lap times, of course. A full field of cars out there on track with us this today. And it's going to be an interesting one. Thomas Mora, he will be second to last from the qualifiers. The MV Skinlab DS Racing Mercedes. But pole position in the AM class as well will be Leo Remy. And he will be starting 4 places ahead of the Bottom Split Heroes. No, the Bottom Split Heroes nick away pole position in the dying stages of qualifying. That is amazing for the Bottom Split Heroes. With an amazing last lap, they nick away the pole position in the AM class. I thought it was already said. The last laps were done. They were not improving at all in any sectors. This is a weird one. Not a personal best in any of the sectors, but a personal best lap time. Really, really weird. Timing software maybe glitching a little bit. But Justin X. Lewis nicks away pole position from the RFRO, orange team in the dying stages of qualifying. 30 minutes are gone now. All cars are now gonna have to pull into the pit lane. The LMP2 qualifying will be underway in a second. But oh man, that is some excitement of the highest level. Justin X. Lewis, take a bow for him. Really, really job well done for him. Last lap of qualifying. Puts in a 1:16.860 to start 9th overall and first in the AM class. Really, really quick. Matthias Zara in the Austrian Sim Racers yellow Mercedes will start from 3rd. The Crips Racing are champions from last season in the GT3 class. Will start from 4th. And then from 5th will start Nick Kerstens there. And that is our top 5. The top 5 in the Pro class looks as follows. Pablo Araujo, with a really quick lap time, of course, has set the fastest lap time with a 1:16.333 overall. Christian Perez trying to improve that for the Agenza Racing Moderna team. Here they go into the pit lane. They're all into the pit lane. And it's now the LMP times to start qualifying in just under 3 or just over 3 minutes time. Well then, some excitement in the chat, of course, about the PGZ Motorsports team. Let us know which team you are supporting in chat. And we'll see who is the best supported team here. But it is Timo Omstede in P3 for the Mad Sims, or for the Mad Sim Sport 111 car. Jeffrey Colmel in P4 overall and P4 in the Pro class for the Ryder Racing Mercedes. And P5 will start Fran Prada for the Euro Masters Esports Porsche. Not a bad starting position if you take into account that it's their first time out in this championship. We're going to take a little bit of a break before we go into the LMP2 qualifying.
For the finest sim racing hardware on the internet. Visit apextechracing.supply for all your professional grade sim racing gear. Race with the same equipment our pro drivers use to win. Pro SimRig aluminium race rigs and monitor stands. Base performance simulator cockpits. VPG and precision sim engineering racing wheels. The best tools so you can win on the track. apextechracing.supply. Sim racing products for the discerning sim racer.
LP2s are allowed to go to the end of the pit lane, do not cross the pit lane exit.
Well, then we are back onto Road Atlanta, and what a track this is. We've seen it in the GTs. It's, well, it's a track vastly different to others. A really tricky first sector, a really straightforward second, but then a really tricky third as well with the uphill and the downhill section. So something for the drivers, of course, to take into account, that the car gets light at the top of the hill. But if we look then at the pit lane, I think we'll see a lot of LMP2s stacking up. There we go, there are our LMP2s. Here you see them lining all up for the start of their qualifying. Of course, a couple of seconds still to go, 10 seconds left. Here we go, it's now green for the LMP2 qualifying. And here they all come out of the pit lane. Of course, a lot of different drivers in here with us today. Some drivers not assigned to the correct team, as I can see. But hey, it's something that we have to get used to. Who is in the Tempest Sim Sports car? It is Rui Queiroz in that car. So we're going to have to assign him to the LMP2 team, of course. Rui Queiroz, where are you, my friend? It's a really quick driver. We've seen that in the past, that he is really quick. As well is with us now. Let me quickly take a look. One of our new drivers today is Matthijs Broere for the Trackside Esports LMP2 car. Here we go. All fixed now. I think, yes, there we go. All fixed now. We'll look on them with Rui Queiroz. The guys who were quickest and have practiced quite a lot is this car, though, the Loose Screw Racing LMP2. They were quick last time out in qualifying as well. And they are now the first out on track. The number 77 Loose Screw Racing. Loving the livery of that car. Justin Lewis says, go bottom split heroes, lol. Yeah, really quick. And then Segret, I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, says hashtag 111. He's supporting the hashtag 111. Track time, though, is going up. 31 degrees at the moment, so the one who's first out on track will have, I think, the best track temperatures to set their lap time. It's going to be difficult to improve if you do have a little bit of a mistake in the first 10 minutes. I think the track temp is going to go up a couple of degrees, which will mean, of course, that it is more difficult to improve your lap time. Loose Screw Racing purple almost in all sectors, apart from the third, where Sebastian Houtgraven is the fastest across the line, and that's going to be a 109.350. Can, of course, be a lot quicker for these guys, but just see the sheer amount of speed these cars have. It's unbelievable. Really, really quick guys out on track at the moment for both classes, or for all classes. TRX says, hi guys, what classes are running here? The LMP2 and the GT3s. And in the GT3s we have a difference of Pro and Am classes. So different classes there as well. Pro and Am, and they have just had their qualifying. So now we're into the LMP2 qualifying. At the moment 22 minutes to go in their qualifying. And then we will end qualifying and go on to the 4 hours of Road Atlanta. The Pro SimRig 4 hours of Road Atlanta. Coming into the last corner once again is Rui Queiroz or Ricardo J. Ferreira for Loose Screw Racing across the line. Is it going to be an improvement of his lap time? The answer is yes, it is, and it jumps him up into pole position, though Rui Queiroz underway really quickly as well against Tempest Sports, if I remember correctly, weren't with us last race, so they're gonna have some points to catch up. Shadow UK says GT3 and LMP2. Yes, indeed, you are correct there, my friend. Michael Vester for 046 Racing in P4 at the moment. ATRS, Apex Tech Racing Supplies, Esports, the number 13 in P3. Fabian Tobe for Lithium Motorsports in P10. At the moment we have 15 LMP2s setting the lap time, but we have 17 LMP2s with us this evening. In total, if I do count correctly, we have 55 teams with us today. So a lot of teams to take into account, of course. It's going to be a tricky start, of course, a tricky circuit to overtake on. Especially for these LMP2 drivers. The Loose Screw Racing car still in pole position with a purple first sector and a purple second sector. The rest all yellow. Let's take a look if we can do what I want to do. There we go. You can see, of course, the cars out on track. This is in their position where they are now. We're looking with the number 1, or with the car in first place, Loose Screw Racing. And we'll go on board with, oh, this car is really quick as well. Excuse me for popping off them for a second. Oliver Conert just came across the line for Bazinga Motorsports to pop into second with a 109.02. The only into the 108s is this Loose Screw Racing car, Ricardo J. Ferreira. The only one into the 108s at the moment. Everyone, it seems like, coming into pit lane now to change tires, fill up with some fuel again. Mark Bisma at the moment in 14th. He'll be looking to improve. A car that is improving quite a lot is the Octopus Racing Team LMP2 car in the hands of Juan Hidalgo. He's going to come across the line in a second, of course, to improve his lap time, I think. Here we go, across the line. He's going to come. And what will his time be? Oh, not an improvement. A 107 or a 109.76. Not an improvement at all. But we'll look on with the man in first place. And we'll take a look with him. Oh, there's a car coming up. on a fast lap, he stays out of the way. But these LMP2 cars really tricky in turn 1. If you go wide, if you touch the grass just for a brief second, you're off into the wall, and there's no catching it from that point because you're on such high speeds. It's unbelievable. The DCW Dog Cat and Wine racing car with a purple first sector. Not a green second sector though. So a lot of time to improve there still for the DCW racing car with a purple first sector, which says a lot. This car's come a long way. And across the line they will come in a second. Here we go. Will it be an improvement? The answer is no, it will not. But into the first corner we go, then into these LMP2s, dropping down into 4th gear. Here you can see it's really tricky. The car does want to understeer really quick here into turn 3. Blind entry, even quicker than in the GT3. Down the carousel and everything now. Down the roller coaster, down the S's. You can call it everything. This one really tricky. Look how the car bounces over this curb. Not taking it in full speed, I think there is Richard Timner. But into the second sector we go, these two 9-degree corners down to 1st here at this corner. And then you accelerate with oversteer onto the long straight. And then you have some time to rest your brain once again before you go up to the downhill section. A really tricky and quick lap for these guys. Downhill we drop then, braking round about the 100 meter mark as well, using all the road on the of the chicane. Really easy to touch the grass on the outside here. You lose the car and you're also done. Down the hill we go then, and that was a lap of Road Atlanta. And that moves them up into keeps P7. But Loose Screw Racing is in a fight with Rui Queiroz' Tempest SimSport LMP2 car. They have now taken pole position once again. But it was, for a brief moment, it was Tempest SimSport at the top of the standings. But it looks like Loose Screw Racing has found its groove once again. They are now up into P1. And that is where they were before, with a 108.690. The only two into the 108s now is Tempest SimSports LMP2 and Loose Screw Racing. Of course, there is, we know it, there is a 107 possible. It is possible, but not, I think, with the track temperatures that we have at the moment. 31 degrees, I think, just a little bit too hot for that. Those 610s you're going to find easily when it is around 24, 23 degrees. That is going to be a lot easier to find that time. But across the line is Ricardo J. Ferreira. Does he improve again? No, he does not. The man that did improve last time round was, of course, Rui Queiroz. Let's see where he is now. On his outlap. 38 of you here at the moment. Please, if you haven't yet, subscribe, push that like button and turn on the bell, because you don't want to miss all the races we have here at Platinum Racing League and at the Platinum Endurance Championship. So yeah, if you haven't done that yet, please consider subscribing and push that like button to try and push the stream out there as well, for everyone else to see, so these drivers get a podium as well to, of course, perform on. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and we'll hope you enjoy the race this evening. It will be Loose Screw Racing who will at the moment start from pole position, who will lead the field to green, ahead of the Digital Spirit DS Racing. They have just jumped up into 2nd place, just behind the Loose Screw Racing team, only just over a 10, so not too bad for them at all. If you look a little bit further down the field, in 16 at the moment it's Mark Bisma, but the one who hasn't set a lap time yet is Matthijs Broere for the LMP2, for the Tracks and Esports LMP2 team. Really, really weird one. Matthijs Boeren in P17 hasn't set a lap time yet. Don't know what is actually going on there. Jorge Sanchez Rodriguez for the Vice Motorsports team also hasn't set a lap time in the GTEs, or in the GT3s, excuse me. But yeah, really, really weird one for them there. Why they haven't set a lap time yet, I don't know. This is the DLR Rodeo Industry red car. You can't miss it with those red colors. And oh, jumps over the curb, and that is immediately going to slow him down. But you can see here, oh, as we hear spin in the background, at the bottom of the hill, the number 14 place car, that is Octopus Racing Team LMP2. They had a spin. There they were, off onto the right hand side of the track. Of course, if you do spin now and your car is totally damaged, then you're out of qualifying, because you can't tow back to the pit lane. You cannot tow back, otherwise that is an infringement and that will get you a penalty. Ricardo J. Ferreira, though, has improved his lap time. Last time round, a 108.490. This man can't stop improving. A man who's improving as well now at the moment is the 046 racing car in the hands of Michael Vesta. Across the line, he's going to come in the number 46. Will it be an improvement? Will it jump up into the top 5? It will not, but it will gain him a position up into P7 ahead of the 505 endurance car. With the purple first sector, it's the DCW racing car. Is that their sector? A green second sector, really quick underway at the moment. Oh, with a little bit of a snap. Coming onto the long straight, that is not going to help their lap time. That is going to hamper them all the way down the straight. That's going to lose them time. And they were underway so well. Oh, but that must be gutting for Richard Simner there. And he's going to try and get a good chicane and try and get a good exit out of here. No snaps out of here. He's going to come over the hill. No improvement in Sector 3, of course. In Sector 4, what's it going to be there? Across the line. Jumps up into P4. Those 4 tenths could have easily been lost in the third sector when he had that snap oversteer. Had to correct it, and there you lose easily 4 seconds to how consistent the loose screw racing car is. But yeah, still not. Or now into the 108s, is he? Yes, he is into the 108s. 108.97. There are at the moment 5 cars into the 108. And behind them, though, is the ATRS Esports car. Coming down the hill now. Improvement in Sector 3. What's it going to be in Sector 4 for them? Are they going to jump up then ahead of the DCW racing team? Different lines through the last corner. Across the line. Oh, they do improve their time, but not their position. Also improving is the Platinum Racing Team LMP2 car in the hand of Martin Beers. He is really quick here as well. Interesting livery, I have to say, it does look similar to what the GTs are running. It's ahead of the Apex Tech Racing Team. Martin there, letting them past. The Apex Tech Racing Supplies team, where are they? At the moment, they are down. Am I looking over them, or... ATRS, where are they? If I quickly take a look. Yeah, they are in P6. I was looking over them. Not improving at the moment in any sectors. But across the line, is it going to be improving in lap time? Maybe it is. No, not at all. A man who was also improving in this lap time was Kevin Koyman, but he does come into the pit lane though, so really asking myself, why did you go into the pit lane then? 16 now, every LMP has set their lap time apart from Matthijs Boeren in the Trackside Esports PEC LMP2 car. With that car out on track at the moment in the hands of Matthijs Weide, so I don't know what that actually is, if there's a duplicate car in there. That could cause some issues. But if you look at the track map, there's one bit where all the cars are together, and that's basically at the exit of the first sector. Really interesting. The track temp again, if I take a look for you at the track temp, here we have it. Weather 33 degrees, so it is getting hotter. More difficult to improve now. Alex Rich at 32 degrees, that was his last famous word. 32 degrees, 33 degrees even now. And Mark Biesma for the DLR Rotary Industry Red all over the shop at the top of the hill at turn 3. DCW, Richard Simner. At the moment looking to improve. This car has improved last time round. As does its teammate for the DLR Rotary Industry Orange. They go up into P13. All the DLR Rotary cars close to each other, it looks like. No. The race will not go on until night time, if I'm correct. It is a 4-hour race, so not too long for these drivers. Also, an interesting fact is that a lot of drivers will use this as practice for next week's Petit Le Mans, of course. So that's maybe why attendance is at the maximum. Everyone wants to use this as a little bit of practice for the Petit Le Mans, the official iRacing Petit Le Mans. I see some quali bans. Could be the case here, you know. Four cars at the moment then with a quali ban. But that would be very early on in the season to already get a quali ban. 5 minutes left for these guys, or 6 minutes left. Excuse me. No one actually improving anymore. The last one who improved was this team. 505 Endurance up into P10. No green sectors across the board anymore. The only green sector we have at the moment is from the Pratt Racing Team LMP2 car from Daniel Weber. So they have changed drivers there. Martin Beers not in the car anymore, but Daniel Weber for the last 5 minutes of qualifying to see what he can do. I expect him to be right around the same pace as Martin Beers did. And also an interesting fact. One of the highest appearances we have had in PEC. 55 drivers with us today, or 55 cars with us today. Really, really interesting. Let's go even to Brouwer, says Stefan Schuster. Yeah, a lot of interesting things happening. Also, green across the board was this trackside even. Kevin Hoymans in that car. Green in the third sector. What can he do then in sector 4? Yes. MX5 Season 1 videos are definitely available. You can find them on the PRL YouTube channel. If you subscribe, of course, then you won't miss all the other MX5 races, because we still have 3 races coming up for that championship. Or 2. Excuse me. So the last 2, which will be a banger. The championship can be decided, so you don't want to miss that, of course. But yeah, you can all find them on the Platinum Racing League YouTube channel. Octopus Racing Team LMP2 at the moment the last in the LMP2 class, with the number 24. The Track City Esports Pack LMP2 car. There are 2 of them in there. And the one which is at the bottom now is not correct. That team at the moment is up in... Here we have him, P13. Number 99. It looks like maybe Martijn Matthijs Boer has joined with the wrong team. The number 99 Trackside Esports Spec LMP2 car. In P13 at the moment, they were really quick. In Spa, they had a really quick start. Excuse me. Good luck, Ivo de Brouwer. A lot of fans for Ivo de Brouwer in here. At the moment, where is Ivo? Ivo is not out on track at the moment. Ivo is not out on track at the moment, so interesting one to see what's gonna happen there. Ivo, if he is out on track, I will get him into shot for you guys. Nancy Racing Black, of course, in the GT3 field, so you won't be out on track anyways by now. But yeah, we're coming to the end of qualifying. It's the last dying stage of qualifying. Tempest Sim Sports with a green third sector, but they had to bail out of that lap. They are now coming out to their last lap, but look at the gap at the top of the standings. Oh, even Bauer says himself. Ivo is in the box. Unfortunately, you have to wait till his stint starts, of course. I will post a live timing link in the chat if you guys want to see live timing. Give me a second. Here we go. There you go. That is the live timing link. That should work. Welcome all to the stream. It's amazing to have you guys all here. We're into the last minute of qualifying now. It's this car on pole position, 0.006 of a second in between P1 and P2. That's how close it is at this track. Stefan just said, see you later, guys. Have fun during the race. Of course they will. It's a track where you have to have fun. Otherwise, it's going to be a depressing race for you. But hey, Lewis Crew Racing at the moment in pole position. They are going to start their last lap time around about now. Here we go. Across the line, starting the last lap time now. We'll go on board with the Lewis Crew Racing car. And they did improve last time round. They did improve no green sectors at all. But they did improve last time round. So really interesting. We'll go on board. You will see how bumpy it is. Look how bumpy it is for the driver. Oh, over the curb. All over the curb. Now, everyone can finish their laps. And if they have, then they're finished. Then their qualifying is over. The drivers who are in the pit lane of course, have to stay into the pit lane. They can't start a new lap anymore. But coming into the last sector then, what is Ricardo J. Ferreira going to do? A green first sector, so an improvement in the first sector. His lap time, a 1:08.44. Tempest Sport, is he going to gap them by an even bigger margin? No, not at all. Across the line, there we go. Not an improvement for him, he knew it. And he's going to abrupt his lap. Also, going to come across the line in a second is James Ibrahim. He's going to go back into the pit lane probably. Martin Beers to the Platinum Racing Team LMP2 car on his last legs as well. And everyone has finished qualifying, it seems like. The 046 Racing car is going pretty quickly. Is there going to be an improvement for them? Not really. They're also slowing it down. Well, that was qualifying then, and it's this car on screen for you now who has taken pole position. The Loose Screw Racing Ricardo J. Ferreira does it again. Takes pole position. In Spa they were really quick. Had some unfortunate incidents happen. Some drive-thrus which does penalize you a lot in Spa. 1 minute and 10 seconds to drive through there. A lot less here this evening. on this track. Qualifying is over, and we'll go over the grid for you right now. It will be Ricardo J. Ferreira starting for pole position. Rui Queiroz behind him. James Ibrahim in third. In fourth, Bruno A. Pereira. Oliver Connect for Bazinga Motorsports in P5. DCW Racing in P6. Lithium Motorsports in P7. 046 Racing in P8. P9 will be for TSR Racing. 505 Endurance in P10. Platinum Racing Team LMP2 in P11. P12 Matthijs Wijten. P13 will be Trackside Esports Endurance LMP2. P14 DLR Rotary Industry. P5 also to Octopus Racing Team LMP2. If I quickly take a look, P16 will go to DLR Rotary Industry Red. And Orange will start in P14, and it is, at the moment, I think, Matthijs Boeren, but that is not correct. He will not start in P17. He will start in the car that starts on P13, the Trackside Esports Endurance LMP2. Then, pole position, Pablo Araujo in the GT class. Christian Perez in 19 for Astro Racing and Genzo Moderna. Matt Sim Sports 111 in P20. 21st, it's Reiter Racing. Also a good qualifying for them. P22, Euromasters Esports. P23, Astro Racing Cellular Mode. P24, Netrex Grand Prix GT3. And then we move on to P25, which will be the Octopus Racing Team. P1 in the GT3 AM class will be the bottom split hero guys, Justin X Lewis. Then it is Chicane Online Racing Red for Jamie M. Pounders in P27. P28, Marco Zilla. Austrian Sim Racers. Cyan, P29, Platinum Racing Team Orange. P30, Pablo J. Fonseca in the Tempest Sim Sports car. Floyd Ramey in P2 in the RFRO Orange GT3 AM car. Then it's No Limit Sim Racing. Vincent Ossems in the Platinum Race Team Blue car. Yannick van der in the Arvensis Racing Red. AVL Racetech Sim Racing will start in P35, P36 for Marcus Rima. Then we move on to one of the last slides. GTS will start in 37th. Manatee Racing Black in 38th. 39th, Austrian Sim Races Yellow in 3rd. In the AM class, MRP by Fields Academy in 40th. Crips Racing in 41st. 42nd, Trackside Esports Endurance. Orange, if I'm correct. Verve Racing Team Black in 43rd. 44th is Nuno Vinagre for SR Technic. Octopus Racing Team will start in 45th. Ivan Bremer for Platinum Racing Team Red in 46th. 47, Manatee Racing Yellow. Silver Motorsports in 48th. Then we'll move on to the last slide. 49, Trackside Esports Endurance Blue. And MV Skin Lab DS Racing 50th. GTS Racing Team 51st. Vice Motorsports in 52nd. 53rd, Reiter Racing Full Send. And last on the grid, but definitely not least, is Thomas Fischer. This is all that the drivers have practiced for. Ricardo J. Ferreira will lead the drivers onto the green flag. And we're getting closer to the green flag moment. Edging ever closer then. Here we go. The firefight lights are on. Or the firefight lights are going to come on in a bit. But by green, 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 we do not start. We start when our pole position man decides to go. So that could be still a long time to go from now. The starting zone is from the downhill to the start finish line. It's the safety car now. It's gonna pull off into the pit lane. Loose Screw Racing is gonna decide when we are gonna go. They can go from now on. And when is he gonna go is the question. It's getting lead in the LMP2 field. New Scrum Racing starts ahead of Tempest Sport, but immediately side by side behind that is the DS Racing car together with ATRS Esports. And the start for the LMP2 field, as it looks like, pretty solid for the Loose Crew Racing team, and as well for the 505 Endurance. It seems like we're all good to go. Pablo Araujo, he will start the GTE or the GT3 field. That start has happened now, and they are off into the first corner. Pablo Araujo with a good start out there for him. He will lead the field and probably look to try and get away. But if you look once again at the front of the LMP2 field, Loose Screw Racing, the number 77, ahead of the Tempest Sport, already almost a gap of a second, which is quite a lot. And he will try and get that outside of 1.5 seconds, because then the slipstream is completely gone. And as we know, the slipstream plays a big part here in this race. Loose Screw Racing, behind that though, it is Olivier Conert, side by side with the Bazinga Motorsports car. Down the inside goes the Lithium Motorsports car. The DCW Racing side by side into turn 3. This cannot end well, or can it? Pushed off the side is the Bazinga Motorsports car, side by side through the S's. Someone has to give, and that is the Bazinga Motorsports car down into P6. Already 5 seconds down from P1. But it has been a monumental start for the Loose Screw Racing team. Already that gap almost up into 1.5 seconds, where they want that gap to be, of course. But if we look back to the GT3 field, here we have then PGZ Motorsports ahead of Astro Racing, Agenza, Moderna, completing their first lap and coming across the line. If we take a look a little bit further back into the field, it is Matteo De Luca for the Porsche team as well, starting in first position in the AM class. Some drivers still not in here, but I do not know how, because the driver that qualified has to start, if I'm correct. So I don't know what that is, but here we have him then. We'll take a look at doing that in a second. But what a battle this is for the lead in the AM class. Of course, sadly, we have the gap only to the leader in every class. It's still not too bad, but if we look at the gaps, they are quite big to the front. Now looking with Matteo De Luca for FRO Orange, excuse me, number 444. As I'm trying to find this team, of course. RFRO, they showed last time out that they were really quick, but it's going to be clean now, hopefully, until the race starts. Chicane Online Racing Orange. The Vice Motorsports team as well. Where are they at the moment? The Vice Motorsports team, they're looking up into the LMP2 class. But yeah, this battle is going to go on for a while, I think, especially on a track like this. It's going to be a big battle. The Vice Motorsports team trying to find them. Chicane Online Racing Orange as well, who we do not have a driver of. No, that's Chicane Online Racing Red. Come on. Where are they? Here they are. There we go. It should all be fixed now. Yes, it is. Here we go then, looking into the front of the LMP2 field. They're catching up already to the back of the GT field, already into traffic. The first traffic has already played their parts. And it is the Loose Screw Racing now. If we go on board, you're going to see how difficult it is through these GT3s. Here we go, look at this then. It's oh so close between these guys. The LMP2 have to find their way around. And look at the closing speed. Look at the closing speed. You don't know where to go here. But the Loose Screw Racing car in the hands of, at the moment, it is Ricardo J. Ferreira. Is really quick. 3 seconds ahead of the Digital Spirit DS Racing car already. And we're down to the back straight once again. Already almost 5 laps completed. And it's going to be an interesting one to look at. If we look at the front of the GT field, Pablo Araujo still in the Porsche. Also looking really quick. Here we have Justin X. Lewis for Bottom Split Heroes. He has dropped down quite a bit. The RFRO orange car is up into the lead. The Bottom Split Heroes have dropped down into, let me quickly take a look. Bottom Split Heroes, where are they? They have dropped down to P8 in the AM class, so something has happened to them. Looking with the RFRO orange car. Thanks all for being here. We really appreciate it. It's the start of the 4 hours of Road Atlanta. We're 6 minutes into this race. This is your leader, the Loose Screw Racing number 77, getting through the traffic. From now on, I have a feeling they will not get a clean lap anymore. So it's going to be difficult now for these guys to It's going to be difficult for these guys now to take a look at where they can finish. Of course, you want to stay clean, but oh, down the inside, that's a tricky one. Already getting themselves in the mix. Oh, down the inside of 2 cars, off turn 1. That cannot end well. Oh, it's so close. The margins are so fine in order for you to not lose time. And this track doesn't lend itself for overtaking, especially for these cars. It's unbelievably quick. But the Loose Screw Racing car at the moment still in first and still with a 3-second margin over the Digital Spirit DS Racing car. Although it is taking that much risk, it's not pulling out too big of a gap to the leader. So that's going to be an interesting one to definitely take a look at. The risk that you take as well through traffic does define your race to a certain extent. If we look then with Pablo Araujo still in the lead of that GT class, and Matteo De Luca still in the lead of the RFRO class. Then this battle for 7th in the GT Pro class. Octopus Racing Team ahead of the Netrex Racing Team, and behind that is the Austrian SimRacer Science Team. Oh, that was a late move from the number 50. That is let me quickly take a look. Can I see them? The number 50 is the 505 Endurance Team. They have had a really good start, up 7 positions from where they started. But that was a late move from them. And a little bit of a stab there for the 115 Netrex Racing Grand Prix GT3 car. All over the back of them is Plan Race Team Orange. I think that's Vincent Ossems in that car. No, it is Stephen Bird starting that car in the Pro class. But look at that, the number 23 coming through. Who's that? That's the DLR Rotary Industry white car, also up 5 positions, or also up 7 positions. So a lot of movers in the LMP2 field as well. Number 114 is who we're looking with. Vincent Ossems. We'll go on board with Vincent down the long straight, or Stephen Bird, excuse me, on board with the Platinum Racing Team orange car. Is he going to try and make that move up the inside? No, but in front of this, it is the Netrex Racing GT3 car going for a move on the Austrian SimRacer Science BMW. Doesn't make the move stick. He's going to be vulnerable now for the Platinum Racing Team car. But not really able to get the good exit to try and attack them. Looks like they're dropping back a little bit. We'll move on to the Netrex Racing Grand Prix, the 046 car into the pit lane. Do they have damage, or what's the case with them? Oh yeah, that car has a lot of damage. And that is going to be a big repair job for them. Meanwhile, we look at Pablo Araujo. He's being overtaken now by the LMP2 field. Sorry for the stuttering sometimes. The battle out there from the field is widening up a little bit. Matteo De Luca. Oh, that's the leader of the GT3 AMP class around. The number 444 RFRO orange car around. That's not what he would have wanted. Back onto the track he goes. Down to P5 in the AMP class. And that now means that the Austrian Sim Races yellow car is up into the lead of the AMP class. Trackside Endurance Team Orange now dropping down a little bit as well behind that. Here we have him, Nick Kerstens. Oh, with some damage on the left side of that car, pushed off track by, I think that's the Octopus Racing Team Black BMW. You will not be happy with that. But it looks like he has some damage on the left side of that car already. Had some excursions off track maybe, or some touches with some LMPs. Which is really, really unfortunate. But that's how it goes sometimes. This though still the battle. Faron Balon ahead of the AVL Sim Racing Team Mercedes. The number 222 ahead of the number 169. A dive from the number 69 LMP2. That's the Bazinga Motorsports car. Now the Tempest Sports car comes through as well. They've had a terrible start as well. Down 10 positions. And they are going to have to look at a comeback as well. But look how busy it is out on track. It's unbelievable the traffic that they have to go through, of course. But this is what it will be now for 4 hours long. Already 15 minutes gone though of those 4 hours. 4 hours, as we know, a pretty lengthy endurance race, but also not too long. Pretty doable. It's the usual ELMS length. But yeah, these drivers are up for it. Teams of probably 2 or maximum 3 drivers, I have a feeling, in the LMP2 class. But in the GTs, probably teams of 2. Because 3 drivers will just be way too much. You'll just have to swap too much and it will not benefit the strategy like you are doing them right now. With probably a double stint on tires for the GTs for one driver and then another double stint for the other driver. That's probably what they're looking at now. Could also be 4 single stints. Tires will be an issue for the GTs though. I've had a chat with Vincent Ossems, who is at the moment in front of this battle in 27 overall and 13th in the Pro class. He says that the tires on the BMW at least are going off towards the end of the stint. It's going to be for the GTs 4 and a bit stints, so if they can fuel save, that's going to gain them a lot, especially in the last few stints. And because if you don't have to go down pit road once more, or one time more than all your competitors, you're basically going to gain 1 pit stop and the time that you're going to go through pit lane, which will be around a minute. And I'll give you a challenge. Go out on track and try and gain a minute on someone. I can tell you it's going to be pretty difficult to do. Oh, who's that off? That is Chicane Online Racing Red Mercedes off. The number 269 drops down to P14. Also off now looks the Netrex Racing BMW. It's all kicking off here after 15 minutes in this race. Wow, this is really interesting, and as it looks like at the moment, the Netrex Grand Prix GT3 team in 19th over in this class. But in the GT class, it has to give way to 4 AM class cars, so it's actually 23rd in the AM class overall. There is an AM class overall standings. We do not have them, of course, but we will take a look at the standings once we get into the race a little bit further on. Once again, hello everyone, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, push that like button or press that like button, and push that subscribe button as well. Turn on the bells because you don't want to miss all the action from all the other PEC season races. Of course, we are now at the 4 hours of Road Atlanta, but coming up after this one is the 12 hours of Monza, which will be an interesting one, a really high-speed track. After that, it's the 6 hours of the Nürburgring, and after that, it's the 4 hours of Fuji. And in the last race of the season, we come back to America for the 10 hours of Road America. Fuji will be an interesting one. Love that track. It's a difficult track though for multi-class, as the WEC has shown a couple of times ago. Oh yeah, true. Thank you for that there. Didn't really see that. Let me quickly do that then. That's well seen from you there, my friend. Thank you. You do everything right, and there's always one thing that will go wrong. I don't know what's happening. Please catch up. Here we go, we're back hopefully. And there we go. Now it says Pro SimRig 4 hours of Road Atlanta. Now that is correct. It looks like, so far, a pretty clean start for most of the drivers. It's still Pablo Araujo, this man in the lead of the GT class. Oh, stuttering is back. I hope this won't carry on for too long. Usually towards the middle of the race it does settle down a little bit. Pablo Araujo for PGZ Motorsports. The gap at the moment at the front of that field is 3.4 seconds. At the front of this field though, it is Loose Screw Racing. The LMP2 class, the number 77, 8.2 seconds already ahead of the Digital Spirit DS Racing LMP2 in the hands of Bruno E. Pereira. Of course, nothing to be ashamed of because traffic does play a big part at this track. You catch up to so many cars really quickly because it's such a short track that traffic is really... This race is really going to be decided by traffic. And that's going to be for most of the season like that. Of course, we all know that endurance racing, traffic plays a big part in it. So that's why, of course, traffic is always a big part of it. But yeah, it's as always one of the biggest parts of the race. The Digital Spirit DS Racing car in front of the 505 Endurance. This is a battle for second place. Can the 505 Endurance LMP2 make a move? Not really. Maybe through traffic. Oh, losing heaps of time is the Loose Screw Racing car. Lost over a second there, and that's what I mean. You can gain or lose a second easily through traffic. So that's what these drivers are going to have to watch out for. That's, I think, Tom Vos in that car, the Mercedes, yes, the Arventis Racing Red team that they just passed. But that gap now opened up quite a lot into turn one. Seems like there was a little bit of traffic there for the 505 Endurance, but this is exactly what we mean. Now the traffic is there for the Digital Spirit DS Racing, and you can see the 505 Endurance catching up once again. As we move on to the leader of the GTE field, the GT3 field, excuse me. Octopus Racing Team Black though in second here. Quite the long way down. Here we have him, Octopus Racing Team in the AM class. Hopefully the stuttering is going to settle down a little bit. Octopus Racing Team Black though in the number 324 in second, just ahead of the Trackside Esports Team Endurance Orange. That is currently attacking the Netrex Grand Prix GT3 car for the GT3 overall standings. Yeah, it lost 10 places. The Rui Queros Tempest SimSports LMP2 car. I don't really know what happened to it. Here it is on your screen right now. But at the start, maybe a drive-through, because of course a drive-through we know. Oh, a touch there with a GT car. That is not what they would have wanted. That is, I think, one of the slower GT cars. That is, let me take a look. The MV Skin Lab DS Racing Mercedes. Here we have it. Mornix, I know that, man, but it doesn't help saying that now in chat. I can't do anything about it now. If it keeps happening, I will try and fix it. The MV Skin Lab DS Racing in 23rd overall now, had that touch just a moment ago together with the Tempest SimSport car. And he's immediately going into the pit lane to fix that damage. That's gutting there for the MV Skin Lab DS Racing Mercedes. This car, though, the Tempest SimSport, really quick on their way at the moment. I'll see if I can try and fix it. Be back in a second, guys. Hopefully it's fixed now for you guys. If it's not, then we'll go out once more and we'll see what we can do. This happened last time out as well. Excuse me, guys, for this. Of course, this is not on purpose at all. Pablo Araujo, the PGZ car, still in pole position, 5.1 seconds ahead of the Astro Racing Agenza Moderna car. Yeah, we'll try and fix it by going in and out again. Be back in a second, guys. Right, if I'm correct, we're back now without the stutter. And hopefully it will stay this way. But still, nothing has happened. You haven't missed anything. You haven't missed anything. Still PGZ Motorsports in the lead, 6.1 seconds. And in the LMP2 field, it is still Loose Crew Racing in the lead. Taking just over a second though to, or just over 8.5 seconds to the Spirit DS Racing. And the 505 Endurance has dropped back a little bit from that car. And Ivo de Brouwer says it's quite a survival, I think. Or I'm afraid I think so as well, my friend. It's gonna be an interesting one. And let's hope that all drivers and all teams can manage to survive, and it can be a clean. At the moment, half an hour underway of the 4 hours, still 3.5 hours to go. Quite a long way for these drivers still to go. You haven't missed anything in those 5 minutes that we were away. And at the moment, it is still Austin SimRig Yellow leading in the AM class. But as we know, like Ivo de Brouwer said as well in the chat, it's going to be quite a survival actually, because we know this track as one of the most difficult tracks. It's a track that is well known for crashes with multi-class, especially multi-class cars. If you race here with, of course, the same class, it's not going to be such a big of an issue. But multi-class has always been difficult around here. We know it from IMSA, we know it from the real Petit Le Mans, where there are even more classes than this. It's just, sometimes it can be a mess. And it's at the moment, it's staying quite clean. Let's say it like that. It's staying quite clean at the moment for these drivers. The gap from Trackside Endurance Team Orange to Austin SimRaces Yellow, here are they, is at the moment 5 seconds. So not too big either. It is at the moment, let me take a look who's in that car. There we go. It is Nick Kerstens in that car for Trackside Endurance Team Orange. Nick Kerstens himself, he knows from himself that he's pretty quick, and he is, but he also knows from himself that he sometimes can be a little inconsistent. We've had a chat, especially after last race, where they were going pretty well, and he was also pretty quick. So yeah, it's going to be survival for some of the teams, let's say it like that. It's going to be interesting to see how some of the teams cope with the pressure of having to watch out for LMP2 cars basically every lap, because this is such a short lap. I think if we're an hour and a half, 2 hours in, that there's going to be LMP2s all across the lap, and that every GT is going to encounter at least one LMP2 every lap. But here we see coming up to the back of the car, or up the back of the 398 Trackside Endurance Team Orange Ferrari, is, I have a feeling, the number 46 LMP2, which at the moment is down in, or up in, down in P15, 046 Racing. They lost 7 positions from where they started. They're at the moment a lap down on the car ahead. So something has happened there. Don't really know what. Can't really look back at it now, sadly. But yeah, something has happened there to the 046 Racing team. What is quite interesting as well is the fact that at the moment. We're gonna be together with the LMP2s at around hour 2. So the GTs and the LMP2s will both pit in at hour 2. Oh, that's off track for Nick Kerstens. That is a big off track. That's gonna allow in the background to see the Octopus Racing Team Black car. Here it is, the Octopus Racing Team Black car. That's gonna allow that car to gain, to get even closer to the back of the Trackside Endurance Team Orange car. So we might have a fight on our hands in a couple of laps time. That gap at the moment 1.6 seconds. Nick Kerstens has increased that gap slowly but surely. But if Nick Kerstens makes a mistake once again like that, it is Octopus Racing Team Black within that seconds. And at the moment it is within that second. It looks like it is Jamie Lawrence from Vice Motorsports in between them though. So you will have to overtake them first, or it will be Jamie Lawrence who has to overtake Nick Kerstens. Looking back then to the LMP2 field, the Loose Screw Racing car, the number 77, still in first. Ahead of the Digital Spirit, the S Racing number 55. The 505 Endurance though, a really interesting car that as well. They are up 7 positions from where they started. Oh, and that's a touch with the BMW, that is in, oh, just keeping it out of the wall. Who is that? It's a touch though, but who went off track? Let's take a look where that exactly happened. Nuno Vinarte. Here it is from the number 123. This is the SR Technic car. Oh, that is a little bit of netcode in there as well. Redcliffe, good luck with driving one-handed man. Respect of for even driving. Big respect. Here we go, we're back with the 505 Endurance car. But yeah, for everyone who's driving, of course, with a little bit of a handicap, may it be forever or may it be for a certain amount of time, big respect, of course. We know that it's difficult to do with just 2 feet and 2 hands to use. And doing it with half of them is even more impressive. So yeah, it's an impressive one. TRX, I don't know who exactly you are, but you seem to be really active in the chat. Thank you for that. If you have any questions, of course, make sure you ask them, and I will try and answer them as quickly as possible for you. James Ibrahim down in the GT field, gaining some positions overall for the ATRS esports car. The Apex Tech Racing Supplies esports car, the number 13. The Lithium Motorsports car into the pit lane. Some cars at least into the pit lane. Here we go. Platinum Race Team LMP2 car into the pit lane as well. There, go once again. They're coming out in traffic after they've had their pit stop. Number 16, a Platinum Racing Team LMP2 car. A lot of drivers at the moment into the pit lane. And this is all LMP2s. Because the GT should be able to go for around about 20 more minutes, if I'm correct. 20 to 15 more minutes. looking with a team that has come out of the pit lane. The Loose Screw Racing car, though, into the pit lane now. So they have been able to go a lap longer than the rest. Bruno Apareira behind him. Ah, Samuel Santos, welcome to the stream, buddy. Good to see you, of course. As the stuttering is back. Yeah, I can't really do much about it. It's just my PC probably not being chunky enough to handle it. Sadly. I will look to upgrade it, of course, before next stream. But let's hope it's not going to stay with us for long, of course, when everyone is getting out of the pit lane. Hopefully it will be back then with us to normal. As you see now, the gap has come down quite a lot. There's the Loose Screw Racing car. Here it is, coming out of the pit lane. The gap is down to 7 seconds. That was bigger, if I remember correctly, before the pit stop. So during the pit stop, it looks like the Digital Spirit DS Racing car has gained some time. I don't know really where it has gained that time. It's a mystery for me where it has gained that time, really. Last time out there, it ran pretty flawlessly from the start on in. And that was Spa, so that was a bigger track. So I don't know what the problem exactly is now. .505 endurance car, though. That gap has stayed the same, so it does look like it's only the Digital Spirit DS Racing car that has really gained time on the Loose Screw Racing car. How that has happened, their pit lane time was a second and a half quicker. So that's one to look at. Maybe doing something different in their pit stop. Patrick, it's PC issues. It's probably my RAM being full. Which I really can't do anything about. At the moment, at least. Seems like the Octopus Racing Team LMP2 car is the last one on the lead lap. Here we have it. This is behind the Tempest Sim Sport car, so that car gaining slowly but surely. But has lost quite a lot of time in the beginning of the race and has, of course, had that incident with the GT3 car, which will put damage to their car. It looked like there was a little bit of netcode involved in that. I will do maybe after the stream, Patrick. Sadly, I can't do anything about a PC build now, but yeah. We've done our best, or at least I've done my best to at least try and fix the issues that we had last time. You're working so hard to fix it, and then you see this, and for some reason it didn't work. And I have no clue why. Being on board then with... Oh, we're going to go on board with the Octopus Racing car because I think that could be an interesting sight. Here we go on the roll bar.